Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Michelle Saeed, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're thrilled to have Jon Stamell, the CEO and founder of Oomiji Inc., joining us. With a career spanning advertising, consulting, and tech, Jon has built Oomiji into a customer data platform that doubles engagement rates for brands in wine, luxury, and retail through one-to-one marketing. An active member of the Harvard Alumni Entrepreneurs and a thought leader on customer insights, Jon is also the author of Celebrate Your Mistakes, and we'll explore his founding story, how Oomiji is reshaping personalized marketing, and his vision for scaling this SaaS venture. So let's dive in. Jon, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here. And let me give you one little correction. It's Oomiji.
Oomiji. Okay, love that. That's even better than how I said it. I'm gonna remember that now moving forward. Well, let's kick things off for the listeners, Jon. Take us back to the beginning. What specific problem within the customer engagement or marketing landscape, perhaps around maybe impersonal campaigns or data complexity, inspired you to start Oomiji Inc?
Okay. I owned an ad agency for about 25 years, and we had a lot of national, international companies as clients and organizations as clients, and they would often ask for market research, which we did not do in-house. So we would hire market researchers, they would come back with their report and present it, and I would always ask the same two questions. The first one would be, you've told us what this group believes. Could you tell us why they believe it? And they would say, no, we can't tell you why. We can only tell you what, because then we have to ask open-ended questions, and they're just much trickier to go and analyze. And then my second question was, did you append any of these questions to, any of the responses to a database of the respondents? And they would say, no, we're not a database company, we're a market research company. And I thought, why can't you merge the two? Why can't you have both database and have market research all append to the database and ask open-ended questions so you could find out not only what people believe, but why they believe it?
Love that. Now, walk us through how Oomiji's offer has evolved since 2015. What have you provide, like real-time segmentation or consumer insights, and who you serve? How has that changed over the last few years?
Okay. I mean, the big thing that everybody is talking about and has added to their platforms in the past year has been AI. And so there's AI on our platform, and that allows us to ask any number of open-ended questions for people to write or ultimately to talk and say what their motivations are, their perceptions, their reasons for different things that they do or believe about a product. And then the AI will analyze that. And then we're also able to conduct search based on word streams that people use, common words, things like that. One of the things that's developed in the past year, one of our innovations, is that we've converted net promoter scores from being just an index into an engagement tool. Now, net promoter scores are used by millions of companies around the world. And it's two questions. The first question being, on a 0 to 10 scale, how likely is it that you're going to recommend our product to your friends and associates? And the second question is, what's the reason for that ranking? And that was developed years ago by Bain Consulting. It's used by millions of companies, and they will look and see what is their score and what is the reasons, first quarter, second quarter, third, and so on. What we've done, because we append language to database files, is we have the index, but we can also turn it into an engagement tool so that you can respond to people's perceptions regardless of what they are. And that is an innovation in net promoter scores that no one else is doing.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's one of the biggest things as a metric within the customer journey. A lot of companies really are not able to pull enough of those insights and really leverage it to create a lot of those data-driven strategies. Let's get into now the nuts and bolts. Walk us through how today Oomiji generates revenue today. What's your core offering, like the CDP segmentation tools or survey insights? How do you structure what you do for your customers, such as wine marketers or retail brands?
It's a subscription service. It's actually priced pretty low. It combines 5 areas that companies typically buy separately. So it has a CRM, or our version of a CRM, that's mostly pointed toward consumers, but we do have clients that use it for trade. It's got a section that enables you to build landing pages, but also, more importantly, measure the productivity of every tactic that you might use. It has a full market research platform, so it would be like having your own Survey Monkey, and it has a full email engagement platform, and it has the Net Promoter Score, or the measurement section. Now, one of the things that makes it different is that all 5 of those are integrated. So you can create segments in any part of the platform, you can send it to another part of the platform, and you can perform whatever action you want to on that part of the platform as well. So that integration of 5 platforms combined in one, along with AI, enables brands to understand who their customers are, what they believe, and why they believe it. Now, we're focused on, as you brought up, wine and spirits, but also skincare and beauty. And now we're talking to nonprofits, cultural organizations, environmental organizations, because it's a great fundraising tool when you think about being able to know what people believe, why they believe it, and then tailor your emails back to them. Let me ask you a question. Do you know how many emails get sent around the world every day?
No, I'm gonna guess in the trillions though, just because we're all online.
Every day, it's 376 billion. Now, if you added that up, it's many trillion at the end of the year. And more than 90% of those go into spam folders, or they just sit in people's email boxes. They may be opened, no action on them. And the reason is that they're transactional. They're not relationship driven. And that's just a race to the bottom, because you're just offering discounts and one offer after another. And most people turn those off after a while.
Yeah, that's such an interesting point you brought up. There's almost like this fatigue and similarity across what's being received, what's being sent out there. And at the end of the day, it all seems the same from like a consumer standpoint. So how do you really stand out within the marketplace and within your own niche? Now, building on your growth, really a lot of your posts on Gen Alpha and third-party cookies, how are you currently acquiring some of your customers right now? Which channels, whether it's LinkedIn, industry surveys, referrals, how are you currently landing clients?
It's a combination of a number of things that you mentioned. LinkedIn, it is referrals as well. And I do a lot of speaking, podcasts, those kinds of things. And so we get inquiries that come in from all of those. And I think it's all of the kinds of things that most startups tend to do, because we can't afford big space advertising, or a lot of things that the larger companies can do.
Yeah, from what it sounds like you've diversified a lot of your strategies through utilizing some thought leadership online and then also leveraging and tapping into your own network. I'd love to learn about your approach to sales. Like what strategies have been the most effective in converting some of the leads into long-term Umiji users? Are you leveraging total retail articles or free trials? And also, are you personally driving the sales or do you have a team that's also involved in the conversation?
We have a small team, so yeah, we do that. I'm pretty much involved in all of our sales. Since the platform was my idea and my baby, I get involved in all of these things and then make sure that we're supporting the client as well. And so we do about a 20-minute demo. We focus on the problem that the client is trying to solve. So what is their pain point right now? And it's usually about things like, my customers, or I have a group of customers that have bought once, but they never bought again. And I don't know why.
Mm.
So that's what our platform can do, is tell them why. Or we have a huge number of people that we're emailing, they never buy. We don't know why they buy. We don't know if they don't like us, what the reason is, or whatever. One of the things to think about is, and I think this is a very common behavior for a lot of people, every morning when I wake up, I pick up my iPhone and I open up the emails and I hit that little edit button and I look and I go, and I usually have about 70 emails at 7 a.m. And I go, delete, delete. Oh, that's from a trusted source. Delete, delete. I know that person. Delete, delete. And what we've found when we've talked to people is that's a very common behavior. So, how do you become a trusted source? That's the key. And you don't become a trusted source just through transactional emails. You need to build a relationship with people. People need to know I'm going to get value from you.
Mm.
And so that's what we enable our clients to do is to give people value by finding out what they want to hear and then giving them that information back.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, before you can even talk about all the different services that you have to offer as like a brand, you want to be able to tailor what you can offer in terms of value to exactly what your lead is searching for, right? And really pinpointing that and providing more of that education and awareness to begin with. And from what it sounds like, the growth has been super impressive with really you transforming engagement rates for your clients. If there was like a bottleneck that stood out, what would it be? Is it even attracting maybe more higher value leads, scaling some of the platform integrations that you and your team are working on, or something else? What are you most focused on solving to keep this momentum going?
Obviously, we need more resources, and so that comes with raising investment funding, which we've been working on doing. I think also getting better alignment with our customers. I think sometimes you can shoot too small when somebody says, I don't have any staff
Mm.
to do this. I think it's great, but I don't have the staff. So can you do it all? Yes, but for a much higher fee. Or they're too high. We have 35 people in our digital department. And so, we're not going to take this on because we're already so set and have such a big investment in the way that we do things. So it's really looking for that middle ground of companies that has an active customer acquisition, retention, retention program, and is also trying to grow their customers' lifetime value as well, which comes from those repeat sales.
Absolutely. And now, with everything you've accomplished with a lot of the integrations and some of the surveys as well, what's top of mind for growing Umiji over the next 6 to 12 months? What does that runway look like exactly?
It's from a product design standpoint, we're refocusing or adjusting the focus on the product to whether your customers are happy, ambivalent, or unhappy, and why. On being able to having the platform, being able to pick out your best customers and the topics that they're interested in, and so that's presented to you right away. Having more of the platform running itself and making it easier. So it requires a little bit less training, although it requires a lot less training than Salesforce, HubSpot, any of those platforms out there. I would say in about 3.5 hours, you could become pretty proficient on the platform. It's very intuitive, and we've intentionally designed it to be very simple.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. The UI, especially for some of the non-technical companies and organizations where they're looking for simplicity, they're looking for how they can start to integrate something within their workflow seamlessly is so critical. What's one misconception often people have about customer data platforms on that note, or one-to-one marketing, especially around their value to brands or scalability as like a SaaS business that you'd like to perhaps address?
I think one of the things, and you mentioned that, is that most companies, since they're not in the tech business, they don't know what a lot of tech terms mean. So one of the things, in fact, we just completed over the past couple of weeks, going through every heading, every title that we have, and turning tech terms or acronyms into common language. Even things like net promoter scores. How happy are your customers? A happy customer is likely to recommend you to others. But telling me NPS or net promoter score to somebody who hasn't worked with that, it doesn't mean anything. But to asking someone, do you know if your customers are happy? Why are they happy and what do they believe about you? Now that's a completely different thing. So what we're doing is we're changing more into common language. And I think that's something we're going to see a lot more of in the whole technology area as well.
No, I think that's great. And it is I'm sure you could relate and agree. It's so interesting how so many companies don't really ask. They don't have any sort of customer sentiment process, or nor do they actually track and measure or have any metrics on how their customers are doing, what they perceive of them as a brand in more and more organizations. You're doing some great work. I love your passion for innovation and really creating tools for companies to do this more seamlessly. One last question, since we're in the lightning round, what's the best piece of advice you've received about scaling a SaaS business, perhaps from your time as like a mentor or at the Harvard Alumni Entrepreneurs Group? What would you say?
I think it's don't think that you're going to make the perfect product. Go out and test it and always test. See what works and see what doesn't work. Also ask lots of questions. Really practice what you preach. And what we preach is asking people, what do you think and why do you think that? So that would be that.
Love that. On that note, that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. Jon, thank you so much for sharing your remarkable journey with us today. Really, your roots in advertising, consulting, and really helping brands elevate their engagement, across their platforms. It's truly remarkable, and we're excited to follow the growth in this coming year. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also find some more resources and insights at closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through trained appointment setters and world-class sales systems. Until then, keep climbing, and we'll see you all on the next one.